Alright Triggles, what's happening? So, as you know, I've done a little preview for a BECW wrestle show, and I went to that over the weekend. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what I thought of the show and everything. Now, BECW, now they've been going for a very long time. They've been going for about 13 years, but I've been hearing mixed reviews regarding them. Some of their shows not the greatest, how the name isn't the greatest either. So I thought, do you know what? The only way that I'm going to make this assumption is by popping along myself and having a little opinion. Because, let's be honest, someone can tell you that that wall over there is black. Until you go and witness it yourself, you're not going to know if it's black. So this was a BECW Highway to Hell show. First of all, I just want to apologise and say that I need to brush up on my geography skills. Because for some reason I said I'm going south of the river, I'm going to Swanley. But this show was in Wandsworth. No idea how I got them mixed up. But if in all fairness, there wasn't actually anything on the poster that said was in Wandsworth. So I'm going to blame them, okay? Okay, so one thing I do need to talk about just before we get into the wrestling, and this is about the ring announcer. Now, he was a young chap, and I don't know if it was his very first time being a ring announcer, but he made a few mistakes. Now, we all make mistakes. We are human. That's understandable. But I don't know if you didn't rehearse or you just didn't have a clue what you was doing. You got thrown into the deep end. It just came across as quite a bit David Brentish. And by that I mean it was very cringeworthy and very awkward to watch in places. I mean, I sat there with my hand over my face when you were saying certain things because I just felt really, really awkward. And I don't want to sound like a prick when I say this to make you feel really small. And I don't want to do that whatsoever. Like I said, I don't know if you got thrown into the deep end, but then I don't know if you didn't do your rehearsing and you didn't know for yourself. But I guess you could look at this and go, right, I know where to improve next time. I know what to do, because it was just a bit like you was a deer in headlights. Couldn't remember the wrestlers' names. You said some matches before they was actually meant to be on. But again, I don't want to sound like a prick, so that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Hopefully, when I next see you, you've improved a bit. Okay, so the first match was between Oliver Peace and Nathan Mercer. So Oliver Peace done a very good impression of Richard Parliament. I even thought it was him for a second there, with his 5 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times Pontin's champion. Now, I'm sure this is an easy match for Ollie to work with because he's very experienced, and Nathan Mercer, who looks a lot like Alfie Dale actually, probably twins in another lifetime or something. He's got a lot of potential, but maybe he just needs to work harder on, looking like a wrestler if he really wants to be one. Now, this wasn't a bad match in all fairness because the crowd wanted fun and they got fun. So it was quite an easy match to get into, Ollie did dominate a lot. Nathan did pick up the win. Not much else to report on this match really, because I've always said in some of my videos that the first match on is quite hard to get into because some of the people don't really know how to relate. But like I said, they was up for it. The crowd was up for it. There was a lot of noise for this one, which is very good. But one thing that I will criticise Nathan on, no more moonsaults like that. Alright, you nearly broke Ollie's legs. No. No. No, no, no. So the next match up, and this was for the BECW Women's Championship, and this was an open challenge, and the champion, Kimmy Akis, was obviously meant to come out first, get in the ring, do a little bit of a promo saying, whoever's going to come out, let's have it now, open challenge. But the Sand guys played the person who she was meant to be fighting's music first of all. Now, she went to come running out and Kimmy had to stop her. Now again, this sounds very unprofessional here, probably on both halves. But mate, come on. Let's get it right, yeah? Let's get the act together, come on. So Dragonita was the one who answered the open challenge call. Now, I've seen Dragonita a few times, and she is a fan favourite, and the crowd was getting behind her, which was really good. Loads of noise, which I love again. So the match, it wasn't too bad, right? I mean, it's the first time I've seen Kimmy, and I was thinking that there's going to be a wardrobe malfunction hanging out. I'm not going to go any more into that, but the guys who were there, or people who were there, shall I say, I'm sure they know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the match wasn't too bad. Dragonita picked the win up. New champion. Congratulations. So one thing I do just need to add in quickly at the end of the women's match. For some reason, some geezer who looked like CM Punk back in the Ring of Honor days got involved and just, fucked up the match for Kimmy pretty much. I don't understand it. He tried to look like CM Punk with the tattoos and everything and his bleached blonde hair like Eminem back in the day. I don't get it. And then he had another goon that came in and started spitting water in her face and shit like that. I just didn't get it. Did not get it. I'm sure it'll probably build up for the storyline. Don't get it. So the third matchup, and this was between KLD, Kevin Lee Davidson. And he was up against Buff Broadside. Now, for two big guys, I was actually impressed with this match. It was not a high-flying match. Obviously, you know that they worked to their abilities, both being good lads. But still, both of them was quite athletic for the size of them. And I don't mean that in any criticism whatsoever. Because I'm not saying, oh, I expect a wrestler to be a high flyer or proper muscly and everything, because wrestlers come in all shapes and sizes. Now, like I said, I was impressed with both of these on here. Quite light on their feet as well. Obviously, you had one playing a yank, one coming out is in the old Union Jack gear and everything. It was good. So you got the England chants going, which I really liked. Maybe it went on for a little bit longer than it should have, because I think both of them were getting a bit tired towards the end. And again, I don't mean no disrespect to them for that. Like I said, I was impressed with this match, but obviously not too impressed because I couldn't remember who picked up the win. So I'm sorry I can't give you a result on that one. So the next matchup, and this was for the BECW British Counties Championship. So this was between the current Counties Champion, Cade Dreyer, and his bitch, the Joe Lightning. Now this was the worst match of the night. It clearly was. People kept coming up to me afterwards and even during the intermission going, Matt, your face was fucking hilarious. It was a picture when, I think it was, I can't remember who it was now, like I said, I just wanted to get rid of it out of my memory. You kept running into the geezer's boot 3 times and my face was like, why are you doing this? I don't get what you're hoping to achieve. It was like watching Groundhog Day, but hoping to get a different outcome. Why? All I can remember from this match is that it ended in the disqualification. Therefore, Cade Dreyer kept his belt. But all I can remember is his bitch got involved and hit Joe Lightning with a spear. That's it. Okay, so the next match, and this was for a cash-in challenge ladder match. So pretty much like Money in the Bank. Obviously, they probably can't call it that due to naming rights. You basically got a ladder. You climbed up the ladder. And you got the briefcase. Now, there were 6 different guys in this match. Now, I will tell you who they are, and obviously tell you the outcome as well. One thing I do need to talk about is, with these ladders, I don't know where you got them from, or how old they are, but you must have pulled them out of someone's shed, because there was cobwebs all over them, and there was spiders running around on the mat. Now, I felt sorry for them spiders, right? What have they done to you? Fucking itsy witsy spider, you just ruined his home, you know. He spent about 5 hours making that fucking web, and all of a sudden you just kicked him out of his home and thrown a fucking ladder on his head. What the fuck? Leo Shadows, Connor Mills, Kieran Corrupt, Chris Murphy, Aries, and Luther Reinhardt. Now, I actually did take a separate video for this, and I'll show it in the other video because it went on for about 15 minutes itself. I have to edit that down. But it was actually a really good ladder match. I really enjoyed this one. I mean, I respect anyone who gets in the ring first of all, let alone to put their body on the line when it comes to a ladder match, a chair match, etc, etc, anything like that. I mean, so lads, I take my hat off to each and every one of you. You've done well. Now, Connor Mills and Leo Shadows, they were the fan favourites, but unfortunately neither one of them won. Kieran Corrupt managed to win the briefcase. And Aries, yes, you are a monkey. Yes, you are here for our entertainment. You would do what we tell you to do. Otherwise, you don't get paid. So the next match was between Juventud Guerrera, and he's been in WWE, WCW, ECW, etc, etc. And he was up against Matt West. Now, Matt West wasn't pleased when he came out because obviously the ring announcer got the name wrong and the match wrong and everything. So he was pissed off even before that had happened. I mean, people were saying to him, where's your hair gone? I mean, let's be honest, lads. He's got hair. It was just very, very shaved and down. If being honest with you, I'm surprised no one started the Freddie Mercury chant because he had the old hello tash going on. So it must be hard when obviously someone who's worked in the likes of WWE, WCW, etc., and then they've come down the ranks. I mean, you can ask reasons why have they come down, but then I don't want to put that down onto the wrestlers that they're fighting, thinking, well, hang on a second, what, ain't I any good for that person to fight me, you know? All in all, it wasn't a bad match, and obviously any indie wrestler can learn from the guys who have been in the industry before the big time. So it's great to have that there for the experience, just for even if it's a couple of words of wisdom, little bit of techniques as well. So it's great to even us to witness that. Juventus picked up the win, but let's be honest, he was always going to do that. You can't see someone like him losing on the independent circuit just because, you know, he's got a big name. He probably wouldn't have agreed to do the show if he wasn't going to get the win either. But watch your potty mouth, alright? Naughty. I mean, my 11-year-old nephew's heard worse coming from me, but still, hey, you know, he doesn't look up to me, alright? So then going into the main event of the night, and this was between the current BECW World Champion, Mr. Hollywood, Shane Stevens. He was up against Alexander Roth. Now, I've never seen him before. I mean, he came out dressed as the Punisher. But before I get into the match and everything, I do have to talk about Mr. Hollywood himself. So his music kicks in, and two guys dressed like ninjas come out. Now, if being honest with you, I wasn't too sure if it was the Miz, you know, how the Miz dresses up and everything. And then Mr. Hollywood comes out as Bane from Batman. Rips all his gear off and goes, "It's me, it's me." Really? Who did you think we thought it was? Bane? I think the main event went on for a little bit longer than it should have done, and I think that you botched 2/3 of your match as well. Now, Mr. Hollywood's suplexes were really nice. I enjoyed watching them, I really did. But his drop kicks and his springboard izagiris were baffling. And by that, I mean, he's a heavyweight and he's a villain, and he completely outshone the goodie here. As a villain, you shouldn't be doing the cooler moves. You should be the goodie doing it so the crowd are up for it. Because if the villain's doing the cooler moves, then what can we cheer for? Let's be honest, people do like cheering for the bad guy at times, but we don't get the reaction from the wrestler if we do that. So there's no point in people cheering for the bad guy. That's why we cheer for the good guy, so the good guy can relate to the crowd. This was an okay match, alright, and that's about as far as it's going to go there, only because, like I said, the villain was doing the cooler, better moves than the goodie. That's the only way I can describe it. But Alexander Roth did pick up the win and is now the new BECW World Champion. So well done on that one. One more thing I forgot to mention, and again, this is where it sounds unprofessional on my behalf. As you can see, it's daytime now compared to when I made this video last night. It was nighttime. It's been wiring me all night long. With the Mr. Hollywood Alexander Roth match, now I forgot to mention that one of his bodyguards threw talcum powder in Mr. Hollywood's face, temporarily blinded him. That's how Alexander Roth managed to pick up the win. But then Kieran Corrupt, who won the cash-in challenge match, came out and went to cash in his briefcase. Now, I don't know if it actually did get cashed in or not. He did hit Alexander Roth a couple of times over the head with it, but Alexander Roth still managed to pick up the win and is champion. Because I'm not too sure, because I don't remember hearing a bell going. No one on the microphone said, now this is Kieran Corrupt cashing in his briefcase or whatever. There was none of that whatsoever. So that's pretty much all I've got to talk about with the wrestling. So I just want to say thank you very much, BECW, for inviting me along. I really enjoyed it, even though I have criticised some of the wrestlers and some of the matches. Like I said, it's always nice and good to see new stuff so you can appreciate it for yourself. One thing that I have to criticise now is, again, going into criticism, at the end it just seemed like one person got on the microphone, said a bit, and then someone else jumped on the microphone and then said a bit, and then another person jumped on the microphone and said a bit. It was kind of like, oh, I want my little 5 seconds of fame. What was going on here? I ain't got a clue. I don't know who was meant to be in charge of the whole night, but that was another bit of a shambles there. But there you go. It just didn't seem like no one knew when to end it. So yeah, there you go. I have done my criticism of the night for your show. But no, like I said, thank you very much for having me. I do appreciate it. So that's all I've got to talk to you about for the wrestling. I will do another video regarding the ladder match. I'll have to do that on a separate one. So I'm going to end this video here. So don't forget to like, subscribe and comment below. And I will see you later.